Okay. Looks like we might be good to go. All right, so we'll bring the meeting to order. Yeah. I'm here, Councilmember Evans is here, Councilmember Watson is here. We had a request to move this City Council Agenda Bill 23-67 to the beginning. Ryan, do you want to take this, or Leslie? I'm not sure who's doing
Absolutely.
this.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay.
What you have in front of you is Agenda Bill 2367. This is seeking authorization of a professional services RH2 engineering for design work we're going to need for the improvements that will allow us to get the generator installed at the public safety building. This has been, this probably sounds familiar because this has been in front of you twice before. The first time was for what we believe the generator itself to cost. At that point, staff believed that it was just going to kind of be a switch with a larger generator. Then we came back and realized that there is additional civil work that's going to be required, plus electrical work in the building to make that all work. It involves panel modifications. It may involve actually some structural changes of the building due to regulatory requirements for needed clearances for electrical equipment. There's going to be a need to actually design the base of it, the concrete itself, so that it can properly support the tank and conduit runs and all kinds of stuff. It's a bigger deal than we had originally planned. So this money is necessary to get the design work done in order to facilitate the purchasing and installation of the generator and all the supporting work to have that generator installed.
Okay.
Let's take care of,
sorry, go ahead.
Let's take care of the few future changes in the building with fire moving out.
No, this does not address any changes that would have to do with anything that fire is doing in the future.
But it's sized for
it is sized for the whole building. Yeah, the generator itself is sized for the whole building, but this is just work associated with the generator. Sorry. One of the critical things here, though, is that it's requesting authorization for $115,000, but specifically of available ARPA funds remaining. This whole effort has been the procurement of the generator, the civil work, all the construction is ARPA funded. This was never a budgeted effort, so we wanted to continue to use ARPA if available, which at this point I understand anyways it is, to fund these this design work.
With this 115,000, what all is this going to cover? Is there anything else that we should be aware of that would be coming forward in the future in regards to the same project? Or
we believe this should be it. Yeah, so this is going to fund putting together a complete bid-ready package because we are going to have to bid this project. So it would be including the project specifications. It'll be the plan sheets supporting all the different modifications and revisions that are needed. And we'll include some oversight during the construction portion of it. So this should be everything.
I'm fine with this. Just a side question. Have you walked through the building and had ideas of what we're going to do when they move out and cost?
So I asked about that. We have, in the second half of this year, we have a person coming out basically to do a study to do just that. And that was already in the budget.
And that's not where we're going with that building, dollars-wise.
Right. We don't know. It just covers looking at that and figuring that out and giving us like a plan.
Yeah.
Right. Is that correct, Sherry? Yes.
Yep. You got it.
Going down or something.
Right. All good?
Okay, great.
All right. I think we're all good. I think consent.
Consent?
You guys have a problem with that?
No.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
All right.
Consent for the 9th, right? Not tonight.
I think so, yeah. The 9th? Yeah.
Correct.
All right. Reports and presentations. Chuck.
Yeah, Brian is off in Louisville, Kentucky at the National HR People Conference, learning lots of good things. So it's been a while, I think, since we had a finance committee. But as many of you know, Lavere has started. She's the human resource generalist, and she's came from CTAC. She had 13 years of experience over there. They use Eden, so she's really kind of been able to slide in still learning our process, but knows Eden and has really been a great addition. Karen Berto, who was a part-time employee at the senior center, has been promoted to a kitchen aide. And yesterday we had Kennedy start as an assistant planner. The conditional letters you see, we have a building inspector coming on very soon, as well as admin assistant 3, hopefully starting sometime around the middle of May.
She just did sign a letter.
Okay, well, starting May 16th.
For what department?
That
Public
is
services.
replacing Debbie's position.
Somebody.
And then you'll note in the upcoming separations, Rich Hansen is leaving as of tomorrow. He's found another position that he's very excited about over in Haps Island. And there is a kind of a going away celebration down at Ron Miller Gym tomorrow at 3:30.
I made a plaque too.
Because he has spent, I think,
I think I saw 25
years.
right
Years,
Yeah.
25 and
I met with him Thursday, tried to.
Other than that, you can see we've got quite a few applications that we're still working through, as well as a couple of vacancies that we have not yet posted. That is the report.
All right. Thank you. Moving on to business and action items. Number 1, the AT&T cell tower lease update.
the Groundhog Day discussion on the Tacoma Point cell tower. So I think you all remember AT&T's been on the Tacoma Point water tank, I think, since early 90s, if I'm not mistaken. We built a new tower. They're looking to move their equipment, move from 4 antennas up to 6. They've been doing on their own nickel some of the site improvement work, welding on the tank, things like that. Get it ready. We've made it abundantly clear that, until we get this amendment in place, you can't move on the tank, but they've been moving forward like tank. So if you'll recall, I think we were right around getting about $27,000 a year. They've agreed to increasing the annual lease rate to $35,000. So now it's down to the escalator. So currently we had a 5% a year annual escalator. We went back and forth with them. We said, well, what if we tie it to consumer price index with a minimum of 5% and a maximum of 7%? They didn't like that. So they came back in lieu of request is to remove the minimum and maximum to the escalation clause and tie it straight to CPI. However, in lieu of removing the minimum, they've also suggested matching the minimum average escalation to similar installations in the area of 3.5%, or just maintain the existing 5%.
5 or 5%.
Yeah, 5 is the current.
I mean, there's no additional cost or anything for us, right?
No, all the site work they've been doing in the trench, did welding on the tank.
You get 10,000 more and keep 5%.
Yeah, well, it's 27, so we're getting about 8,000 more, and then keep.
I think that makes sense.
Sounds good to me.
And then, are you okay with that? Just go into the consent agenda when it's ready.
Yeah.
All right, I will send that back to them.
Awesome. All right. Next item is discussion city branding and logo.
Yeah.
So I asked about this
Yeah.
A while ago. This was brought up to me by Chief Jeter a while ago, and several other people had just kind of
Several others,
randomly,
too.
come by, and I started looking at some stuff, and I had my kid look at some stuff because we've designed a couple patches and this kind of thing. And so then I asked John, and he said, "Well, let us look at it and whatnot." So.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And it definitely it's time to kind of update, I think, represented as the city, and which includes part of that's a logo, right? So I had reached out, we worked with PRR on a couple of projects, and I worked with them. But what did they do branding and logos as well? So I just asked them if they could put together a proposal of what. And so they came back and with a process of how that would do. And we talked about coming to council, having a couple meetings, discuss what would we like to see? Like what's our city represent? What would we like to have the logo look like? So it would be part of that discussion. And then they would come back with some design concepts. And then they would work through that process and then come back with a final. So in addition to that would be a style guide. So how do you use this logo? Where does it go? Colors, things like that. So I think a style guide is an important piece of it as well. So we don't want to lose. But in that, it's about $17,000. So we definitely would need to go out and get more bids if we wanted to move forward. But I just wanted you guys to have the discussion. Is this something we want to move forward with? Should I continue going out for getting quotes from other, or how do we want to do? Because you can have it. I've seen cities do like have residents submit design ideas or get feedback on what the community thinks a logo should look like, or at least come up with some concepts and then share it. So what would wanted to bring this forward to you since it's been brought up and get your feedback.
And really, real quickly, when Terry brought it up, we went into our logo section, Fair Drive, and there's the flag logo, and there's the logo you have on the letter. It's really the council. What do you want? So if we were etching something in, oh, there we go, we got that.
What do you got?
Is that our new logo?
Oh, nice.
I've got 3 to show you.
I paid a kid $35 in India to make a logo
Well,
for 2A.
And I was telling Leslie, I've got an artist. If you have an idea, isn't all you need, but he's a fantastic drawer. I mean, come up with an idea, I can easily give it to you, and then if you want to have somebody colorize, he can colorize it for me too. I mean, it just depends on what.
Yeah.
It won't cost us that much anyway.
I mean, I think if we want to have a discussion.
There's another one back, the other logos. I've got one more. Using our basics that we have, because we're known for the top of this hill, in my mind. Lake Taps is us, and see the birds coming through here a lot. I mean, and when you have color, it make a big difference.
I mean, a lot of places. I mean, I think that's representative of what you see when you come up, but there's other viewpoints of the city as well. So
Right.
I think it could warrant like at least a discussion of what people would like to see. Because even some cities, it may not be a visual aspect; it might be something else that's represented.
I do think we have too many out there, right? There's the one with the flag, and there's just the logo name type deal, and then there's the bird. It's just like it's kind of all over the place. It'd be nice to see one brand just done. This is what it is. This is what represents the city, whatever that is. Personally, I think if you go something close to what the police patch is, then that makes sense to me. But I don't know. We can always, I think it's worthy of a discussion. Talk about. I don't know how much we want to throw towards looking at this, because I don't think it's a huge deal, right? It's not something I want to spend a bunch of money on, but I do think it's important.
But
So
and what they present here is only the cost of the logo. You've got letterhead and mailers and website updates and everything else that will eventually tie into those costs.
I'm all about using everything up we already have.
Yeah.
So when you order
Agreed,
new,
John.
now you get the new stuff,
John,
right?
the first thing John and I did was look out the window and see what our street signs, if it had a logo on it. It does not. So I think
Some do.
some
Yeah, so the ones at the Bonney Lake thing, they have like the birds.
yeah, but you do. That's what we talked about. Those are like things we talked about. Yeah, but there's definitely long-term costs, and I know City of Walthall went through it. They had to approach it like not everything would change right now, but here's how it would. So
I'm a fan of that. I feel like if we just throw everything out, then like
it's wasteful.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, having someone strip all the vehicles down versus just the next time we buy a new vehicle.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think our check stock has some sort of logo as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's going to be long term, but you hope your logo when you redesign it, it's a long term.
Yeah.
So and what's nice is, I mean, we're doing the comp plan right now, but 2049 is we're approaching 100 years as well. So I mean, we're a little ways out, but it's going to be here fast, right? So when you're looking at hopefully we have it. It's a long term thing, right?
Yeah.
And as much as I love our citizens, Bonney McBoat Lake is probably going to be the name that they pick, and I think we should keep that internal here.
Okay.
I'm good with,
Far
yeah,
corner.
I
Yeah, I
agree.
know.
I'm good with keeping it internal as well. One of the things that brought this up too, if you, my son was looking at flags. He's really into flags. He can tell you every country's flag and all this kind of stuff. Bonney Lake is actually on a list of like one of the worst flags ever. It's horrible.
Is that Sheldon Cooper?
It's
Yeah.
kind of that way,
Flag,
yes.
flag.
He is. Like, oh my gosh, things you don't want. A photo on a flag. I'm like, okay,
With a couple
words on a
dots.
flag. I'm like, well, you're gonna have to have some words. Like cities have words on their flags, but yeah, you know, whole thing. So
So, do we want to approach this with maybe bringing a consultant in on a help with the discussion piece of it at all, or what, like, how we should move forward with that, or do we want to just try and do it all internal and,
I'm in fact just trying to do it
Figure
internal. I
out.
think.
I think maybe I can call, so Washington State Parks just went through a huge rebrand. They have a staff person that does it, and that's her expertise. So maybe I can ask them and see how they did. But they spent thousands of hours on it with public feedback and input, looking at.
Yeah,
I mean,
don't
they're a
wanna
huge
do all that. It'll be
organization, but
forever.
they might be able to help provide some guidance on how to have
Yeah.
the discussion. And
Yeah, Sherry, go ahead.
What about using ARPA funds for this so that it doesn't burden Leslie and her time trying to have discussions with everybody? And there's still, with everything we've done, I figure there's still going to be like $3 million available. I believe that's my last number.
118. Ryan's still working on that extra money.
Just waiting for.
I know he is.
Come on.
Get him some water, please.
That's probably a good idea.
Waterfront, you say?
I think, yeah, internal and whatever we can do to keep the cost down on coming up with this. I don't think this doesn't have to be a gigantic thing. I think it's something that we can take what we have, make it a little bit better, right? Update it a little bit. And
That's kind of what I was doing there, the
yeah,
same thing.
I like that. That
Yeah.
looks good. Yeah.
Yeah. And the mayor, I don't care what you do, he wants to have a big round plaque in the courtroom, the wall, which I done other cities too, but we have to do it. But that would be nice in the wall in
Yep.
the courtroom.
Yeah, and that's kind of
Yeah,
that's how
that's
the discussion started.
that's
So,
another
okay,
one.
what round
What do you
thing?
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do we want?
yeah.
Nice piece of metal.
Yeah. That's always good
Metal,
too.
wood.
You know, what? It doesn't have to be wood.
Put some metal or behind the wood.
Yeah.
Like, does this work?
Wait, is the metal like for a gong?
Open a suggestion.
We will bring this meeting to order.
Oh, I was
Leslie
thinking-
might be
I was
too-
thinking
Too young for the gong.
Kick them out.
No, that's good. The Gong Show.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, wait, there was one up there, I thought.
Up there?
There used to be one, yeah.
There's a bell.
Yeah, Bill.
Yeah.
Well, can't you use it as a staff and ask them what their ideas are? Bonnie Lake represents and stuff.
Mhm.
Get some ideas that way put together. I mean, and even if you want them, I could throw some arbors together. Once you get some ideas too, you know.
Yeah, that's
That's
horrible.
Okay.
That's the one
I don't
that's on
think
the
that's
watch list.
I'm just
Okay.
offering.
What about a
I
contest?
appreciate it.
I can tell the back of those trees.
That's an idea.
A what?
Where those ducks are.
Like a
You can put on-
contest? You know,
Well, I
have
mentioned
employees.
that was, yeah, I mentioned that. You probably have the same, I mean, I wouldn't go, I would go the community route then,
Go on Facebook then, do it that way?
but I don't think we want to go that
Nice.
direction. I think they.
No,
want
no,
to
I meant a
put-
contest for internal employees. If you wanted to keep it
I think-
internal, if you had a contest.
I think
idea.
getting the feedback and then figuring out a way how to incorporate it all. But maybe other people could come up with design, help with it.
I think you and Chunk come up with some great ideas how to do this put together for us and
Okay,
come back to us with some ideas.
yes, okay, sounds good.
Woodcock, he's not doing anything now.
Thank you.
There's Sasaki these days.
You're good?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's trying to deliver clothing. He's having a hard time with that.
Yeah. Approval of meeting minutes. There's one change. You guys have anything?
Those already made, yeah.
Okay. Good. Open discussion. All right, cool.
It's easy peasy.
We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Bye, Sherry.